All right, friends, we are here at last. Rue Shahar, Andrew, Fellowship of the Tables made us really freaking late, so I'm just going to throw him under the proverbial Dungeon Master's transport system. No, just life stuff. You know how we are around here. If it's life, it comes first. And so now we are ready for the Dungeons and the Dragons. I'm Scott on Earth, but Wily Hobbit here in my little quiet corner of the internet, and we are stoked to have you as I'm violating copyright. Oh, shut off Spotify. Very good. And we're going to play some D&D. And so I'd like to begin by going around the overlay, and you may notice that recently we've been as little as 3 people, we've been 4 people, but we are once again 5 people, and we're actually 6 people, but one of our peoples is unable to be a people with us tonight, so we're going to be 5, and 2 of our people are new, and we're going to get to their new shininess in just a moment. Viz, Dave, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character, sir?
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm playing Viz, a fairy fighter, and not that he fights fairies, but he is a fairy and he fights with fighter thing. Anyway, I'm off the rails already.
Dave, I've never known you to be on any rails in my life, so
Yeah,
take that.
Me and the LRT here in town. Okay.
All right, buddy.
And I'm a archetype, rune knight archetype.
Yeah.
In the fighter domain. So
yeah, I like that you said you're a fairy fighter, but not a fairy fighter. That's a good distinction right there. Yeah, excellent, very good.
Yeah, you have foo fighters and you have fairy fighters.
Fairy fighters, and who knows what other kind of fighters?
With fairy fire.
Not to be confused with fairy fire, which is an illuminating topic for which we have little time. So I'm gonna.
Which happened 2 episodes back when I got breathed on by a hellhound.
Yeah, we've had some fun. Yes, we have. Let's meet and reacquaint ourselves with dear Ronvin.
I'm Vivi or Vivesha, and I play Ronvin. Ronvin, still, she got an inkling now that she's not quite human, but, the only other Azamar that, she met has kind of ditched us, so she's still not really sure. Right now, she's just ignoring it. She just knows that if she wants to, she can pop wings.
She could pop wings. Yeah, she discovered that, much to her consternation / surprise.
Yeah, for quite some time she thought Elle was screwing with her. That was all the wizard. That suddenly like, what the heck? Why did you make me fly in the middle and then I fell down? So
Elle leaves and you can still make wings.
Yeah, she's not as naive as she was in the beginning, even though she's still naive enough. But she's been through the Grendel route and back.
That's right.
She lost some people. She left some friends behind, but she's still young. But she's an artificer, an armorer, and she wears this really, really cool goblin armor that actually we found that grows and shrinks with whoever wears it.
Yeah. Yep.
And she loves to use her lightning launchers.
'Tis good. All right. Let's go over to Rouge. Ooh, somebody's granting advantage. Foxfire, and I think I know who you're here to see. Are you going to grant advantage to somebody? Just let us know in chat there. Ooh, yeah. I'll tell you, Ronvin, you got to hook up with those advantages. I think you're maybe sending some funds over there to the Foxfire for advantage. I'm going to look into that a little bit.
I know he has to. He's been married to me for 13 years now. He has no other choices.
Okay. You know what? I'm backing away from that. I'm not looking into anything. Oh, the Jen with the big DM advantage. Thank you, the Jen. You're so kind. Excited to have you here. All right. It's good to have audience people who don't have to be here because they're married to one of the players. That's good. We have people here of their own free will. It's nice. All right. Let's go to Rue Shahar. Rue, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey everyone, I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship of the Tables, and I'm playing sneaky rogue merchant Rue Shahar, who is a changeling posing as a human. Only Ronvin currently knows that he is a changeling of the current party. And yeah, seems to have some shady background with his Zentarum. Maybe one Zentarum in particular who we've heard about recently.
What's going on there?
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, very good. And now it is time for the unveiling, the exciting moment for which we've all been waiting. And we're going to go with ladies first. So I would like to welcome for her first time on our little game here, Sydney Wisteria. So tell us a little bit about your character.
Hi, so I'm Sydney, and I'm playing Wisteria, who is a Hexblood Circle of the Spores druid. I'm very excited to play it. I don't know how much you want me to say right now, if you want me to wait for character description when we actually meet her.
We're going to unveil you.
But I'll hold off. I'll just leave it at that for now. But
that's exciting.
Circle Spores, Hexblood.
Hexblood, yeah.
Wait, what is Hexblood?
Hexblood is a thing. And I guess you'll just have to wait and see. Yeah, this is the party of not traditional races and classes, which makes this really freaking fun. Yeah. Yeah, the changeling, you're human. Right, I got you. Sure. And last, and certainly nowhere near least, Rance, what's going on? Welcome to our game, Matt.
Great to be here. I am Matt. I am playing Rance Rumblood. Rogue swashbuckler, former pirate.
And by Rumblood, you mean rum space blood.
What?
Am I right?
That is exactly right.
In quotations to perhaps indicate a nickname of sorts. I don't know.
No.
Could be. Again, more will be revealed. Ronvin, you got another advantage from one of your friends. So very nice. Very good. The starting grid, thank you for joining us. I don't know how much she's paying you to give her those long bottom leaf advantages, but excellent. I'll just remember that she's the one getting them all and use mine accordingly. All right, and that leaves me on the DM. I'll be hanging out with all the NPCs and the monsters, should we see any monsters. We don't usually see too many monsters in this game, so. But yeah, so let me see if I can remember what the heck it is that's going on, because it's been a hot minute since we've D&D'd. The last session that we had, and I think it was probably 2 weeks ago tonight, I think that was the last time we played, the party was in some tunnels beneath Dagger Falls, and the game is set in Dagger Falls, Dale Lands, Faerun, so Forgotten Realms. There had been a death. A young lady ventured down there with a local dwarf, both locals. Young love, who knows? But they went down there into these tunnels. They're well known to some of the more in-the-loop folks in Dagger Falls. But in the interest of investigating that death, the Company of the Iron Phoenix, the name by which the party has been chartered to Lord Cormeril, the Lord of Daggerdale, was paid to go down and investigate, find out what happened, and in doing so, they discovered a secret door out of one of the far caverns in this small tunnel system that leads under various buildings under Dagger Falls. And so they followed that secret door into an actual more natural tunnel system that kind of went down in elevation as they progressed outward away from Dagger Falls. Hey, Skagath, man, my dude, thank you for the host, man. That's very, very much appreciated and welcome. Very nice. And in, exploring that, they ran across a little situation. Long story short, they discovered, as they were coming back from their first foray into those further tunnels, a couple of hellhounds attacked the party as they were about to close that secret door and head to the surface. And behind the hellhounds was this rather gnarly, sort of a Groot-looking dude, kind of sparkly, crystalline bark, stonish-looking skin, big scimitar, and the party almost killed that thing, and then he poofed away. The hellhounds were killed, only to reveal a small group of Darrow, which are these really cool, funky, angry dwarf people. More crazy and out of hand than maybe a Duragar. And Rue captured one, and it basically said, hey, we're slaves in this mining operation, this salt mine. And so the Darrow led the party to the location where they found, I believe it was 2 more of those large Groot-like stone-skinned, sort of bark-skinned creatures. And battle ensued. Another hellhound was found. More Darrow were found. And the party won the day. And in doing so, they discovered a small office in this little cave system way down into what started to feel a little bit like the Underdark. I mean, I'm sure that's not it. That's totally not it, but it seemed that way. It was like many thousand feet beyond Dagger Falls and ever, descending deeper into the earth. So pretty good haul, probably over a mile away from Dagger Falls. And in the office, they found some interesting items. A couple of crates, one of which contained some items of interest, some magical items, a scroll and some things. And where did I put my paper with the crates? And also another crate that they have not opened. But they also discovered a number of crates of what appeared to be like salt that had been, mined and packaged and what have you. But the interesting thing about that was that those crates had affixed upon them a burned logo, like a brand of the Zentarum logo. Looks oddly something along the lines of that, which I've just projected onto the stream. Leading our fearless and intrepid adventurers to no end of crazy mental gymnastics trying to figure out what's going on until they happen to locate in the this rough made sort of office a pile of papers, a scroll, if you will, that basically looked like a contract. And it turns out the creatures that they killed were fiends and nothing less than salt devils. And it appears that this small gang of fiends has been running a salt mining operation down here and trading the salt is like exquisite, absolute, pristine, pure, highest quality salt. They trade the salt to the Zentarum because there was a huge cache of swords, crossbows, bolts, shields, axes, maces. And so there's some kind of a strange trafficking deal going on between salt for weapons, and also there was some language in the contract about slaves that would be provided by the Zentarum to the devils because salt don't mine itself, kids. And so a rather nefarious arrangement hath been discovered, and that's sort of where we're going to pick ourselves up. The contract on the Zentarum side of the ledger was signed by 2 names that were legible. One was Luala Blackhand, and then it said Viper. And then the other one was Jamna, Jamna, Gleam Silver. And then beneath that it said Ardragon, Ardragon. And it is here that we will pick up with the company of the Iron Phoenix, Viz, Rue, Ronvin, and Fix are down in the tunnels. And last I knew, they were going to head out with their cache of the crate, a crate of salt, and the items they found in the other crate, the contract. And I believe we were going to retcon you back to exiting the tunnel system and entering up into the back end of the Red Rock Tavern. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, so what's the story with this cart? Is it something we've each got at the end of a handle on it?
Oh, right. Yeah, good question. So it's basically a 4-wheel wooden constructed rectangular cart that would be helpful in carting mined materials or anything really. I would say that it's probably about 4 or 5 feet in length and maybe 3 feet wide. It's on, wheels, casters, if you will. The corners are bolstered by angle iron and, iron strapping that's riveted to the wood. It's not fancy by any stretch. It's very Spartan, utilitarian, but it's perfect for carting around, chunks of stuff, or in this case, crates and treasure, if you will, items.
Since we've got 3 crates on there right now, right?
I believe you have a crate of salt with the Zentarum logo, or, well, not logo. They don't do logos in D&D, but the Zentarum symbol. And then there are 2 chests. One that had a ring, some spell scrolls written in a language that was intelligible only to Fix, the contract, and then you have the other chest that remains locked and unopened. And that's what's currently in the cart.
I think we nabbed all the magic items like the daggers and stuff as well.
Yeah, there were a dozen daggers, and I believe Fix identified those as +1 daggers. The ring was a ring of evasion, and then there was 2 sets of +2 bracers of protection. Whoa. Hello.
Yellow, definitely.
So some good treasure, some good items. Benevolent dungeon master, no doubt. I mean, great find.
Yeah. So I would like to start attuning to one of the sets of bracers on the way back up.
Okay. That is easily accomplished. If I remember correctly, it was a good hour, 45 minutes from the secret door out into the tunnels. It was probably a good mile plus. You have no problem making that back, even, pushing the cart. And then it was, I want to say it was a good 45 minutes back to the Red Rock. Those tunnels are long. And so we kind of retconned you back to the basement of the Red Rock, and you find there at the portcullis what you might expect, which is 2 of Daggerfall's finest of the constabulary, 2 of the deputies there in full chainmail with the Daggerfall's heraldry firmly affixed to their chest. Yeah. They immediately set about unlocking the portcullis. Oh, good to see you. Welcome back. Everyone's safe, I see. What have you there?
We have a long story.
Ah, well, perhaps then it might be best to whisk you upstairs. Kessla is upstairs. She mentioned that she wants to see you all before you leave. The constable had to return to the constabulary on some business he was summoned to, but be sure to catch Kessla before you exit.
We will certainly do so.
Let's see. That cart. They look at you kind of scratching their, 3-day-old growth. Scritch, scritch, scritch. Kind of look at each other. The stairs. Why don't we unpack the cart?
Sure.
Because I don't relish trying to heave that thing up the stairs. Looks like you got a couple chests and a crate. What's in the crate? Wait, is that the Zentarum insignia, the Black Network?
It is indeed part of a long story.
Their eyes kind of... you don't even need to roll insight to know that they're kind of like, dang. That faction is well known in these parts. There's a long and unpleasant history associated with that insignia.
Yep.
Okay, so you make your way up into the back end of the Red Rock. Is that correct?
Yep.
That's correct.
Great. I presume Viz, the fairy, is going to carry the crate and the 2 chests up the stairs.
Just stack them up all on top of them.
Yeah.
Well, ironically, for a 1.5 foot tall creature with the strength of 16, I can actually push, drag, or lift 480 pounds, according to D&D Beyond. So yeah, I could do that. It would look ridiculous, but while flying.
Nice.
This is D&D. Nothing has to make sense.
Okay, so you managed to haul your gear up into the back storeroom. Kessel is actually standing there with Orthron the dwarf, whom you recall, kind of the reason, the founder of the feast, if you will, that got you needing to go down there in the first place. And she welcomes you back. Hi, good to see you all. Good to see you all safe. What? And then she kind of gives a sideways look when the crate of salt comes up, and you set it on the stone floor with a loud kerthunk. The wooden crate, when she eyes the insignia of the Black Network. What have you there?
Lots of salt.
Your mic is rumbling quite a bit.
My mic is rumbling?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really.
That's a new development.
Yeah, I think you're a bit close to it, or it's got some chop on the game.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Good.
Perhaps
That's
I
very
was
good.
too close. Sorry about that. Thank you for
No worries.
calling that out.
Yes. This is salt.
You have a
It's-
problem. It's
Yes.
called devils.
She kind of cocks her head. Well, this doesn't have anything to do with devils. This is the Black Network.
Yes. We need Zol here now so that we can help get your city in better shape because your bowels are infested with devils and hellhounds.
Orthron, go fetch the girl. And close the door behind you.
This phrasing. Bowels.
And Orthron dashes, closes the door to the storeroom. Devils, you say?
Sorry,
How-
did you say the girl?
Oh, yes, I have someone I really want you to meet. She kind of looks around a little sheepishly. So, I have made an acquaintance. She's been here at the tavern, say a week, maybe a 10-day. She has talents. She has skills that really could be quite usable for folks such as yourself. And I noticed that the company, the Iron Phoenix, isn't quite what it was in numbers. So I thought you might meet her, and she is eager to be helpful. And I think once you meet her and get to know her, you'll find her skills to be quite useful. Especially given what we've discussed with Zal and Cormeril about your potential future activities relating to this matter, actually. So I took the liberty. Hope you don't mind.
I mean, we can certainly use all the help we can get.
Be nice.
A devil, you say? Or devils?
Quite a few devils.
Or what became of them?
They're dead.
Some of them are dead. Some of them are run off.
Do I need to be concerned? How are these
Yes,
things getting into the
absolutely.
tunnels beneath Dagger Falls?
There's
Maybe we should get Zal so we only have to tell the story once, if you don't mind.
that. Yeah.
That seems fair. I will. Okay, so, and she looks at the two deputies. You two, why don't you go back downstairs and continue to stand guard at the portcullis? Whatever you just heard, keep that amongst us, if you would, please. We don't need widespread fear and panic on the streets of Dagger Falls until we assess the situation.
Yes.
And they
don't worry
nod.
about the dark. Don't worry about the dark shadows. They're perfectly normal.
They kind of look at each other and look at the fairy.
It's just sort of flying and rotating slowly in place. Nothing to worry about. They don't come out of the dark at all.
They head downstairs, and she promptly locks the trapdoor, slides the double deadbolts,
Bye.
and then locks the
Nice knowing
padlock. Yeah, I mean,
Remember, it's
we're-
just like, this. Sometimes
Yes.
zzz, it's a wobble.
I can do that. And he flaps his wings real fast. Zzz. And corkscrews off.
Don't scare the normal people.
Who said they were normal?
Compared to us?
What's normal?
Compared to us? Yeah. Almost everybody's normal compared to us. So shh.
But this is half the fun.
And she's just like, oh,
Children.
we'll have a talk later. We got to work out some signals, you know?
As you all are conferring and so forth, the door opens quickly and in pops Othrin, the dwarf. Wisteria, while you were in the tap room awaiting your possible meeting, Othrin, the stable master, he's a dwarf of about 46 seasons, comes and grabs you on the wrist eagerly. Come. Miss Kessler would like to see you in the back.
Oh, all right then.
Very well. And so through the door comes Orthrin, and behind Orthrin comes a young female. Please describe yourself, Wisteria.
Yes, so she has purplish gray skin tone. She has really long dreads that go down just below her waist. And her dreads are like purplish, bluish, and have like white in there, and just like all these different types of colors. And she has this, I don't know if you all know, Ouroboros tattoo on her forehead. It's a snake eating its own tail on her forehead. And she has these black branch-like horns on her head as well. And I believe she wears this black leather top that shows her midriff and has this long black skirt that she wears. And she has different types of jewelry that are like feathers around her neck or like different animal skulls like squirrels or hawks, skulls like around her waist. And yeah, that's what she looks like.
Kessler greets you with a smile. Orthrin, if you would please leave us. And he smiles and nods. Yes, Miss Kessler, of course. And he steps out and closes the door. Wisteria, I would like you to meet
leans over to Viz as Wisteria is coming in.
Okay.
And gestures to Wisteria and says, "See, not normal." And then gestures to Orthrin, "Normal."
They all look the same to me.
So as Wisteria enters, Kessler, there you are. Good to see you, Wisteria. Thank you. I know you're nervous. I know you're excited. So Wisteria, okay. And she kind of calms herself down. She's clearly very excited to make this introduction, which Wisteria seems a little different for Kessler. Kessler's even-keeled. She's a half-elf, former adventurer of some 98 seasons, 98 winters. So she's getting up there in age. She walks a little crookedly, probably due to some sort of a adventuring mishap or injury. She carries this beautiful carved cane to kind of keep herself on the upright, and she's quiet and sort of thoughtful, but she's almost giddy when you enter, excited to see you and make this introduction. Company of the Iron Phoenix, this is Wisteria, the young lady I was speaking of, and Wisteria, this is the Company of the Iron Phoenix. That's Ronvin, and she points to Ronvin, and the little smaller flying rotating guy, that's Viz, and the skinny boy, that's Fix. He's a wizard, whatever, and then Rue Shahar.
Well, it is a pleasure to meet you all. I've heard quite a bit about you from Kessler.
She
You all
smiles
seem
and
to be-
nods.
Seem to be very formidable.
Oh, nice to meet you. Kessler speaks quite highly of you.
Oh, well, that's good. I'm glad you think highly of me, Kessler. I try to do my best around here. I'm pretty new to town. Just trying to make myself useful at this point.
How do
She
you like the
mentioned-
mint?
What was that?
The mint. Did they give you mint tea yet?
Have they?
No, not where
Probably
you've been
have.
hanging out. Yeah, the mint tea she refers to is at an inn across the river. You've kind of been more closer to the woods, north end of town. Yeah.
Mhm.
They make good cupcakes too. We got to show you. The mint tea is amazing, and the cupcakes are so good. You got to ask for them. They're so good. They're so good.
Well, I definitely need to try some of those. Um, well, I hope you all would be willing to let me join your party. I've been trying to find a way to help make my talents useful and healing others and trying to help with my knowledge of nature and just being out in the woods and to help you all in your endeavors. Need to get out a little bit more and interact with more people, to be completely honest.
Well, we certainly do quite a bit of that.
Wonderful.
We tend to wind up in quite a few fights. Are you able to defend yourself if it comes to that?
I should be able to hold my own.
She steps up. Kessler does. This group. This is the group. Remember, I told you, but they serve at the pleasure of Lord Cormeral. They're actually a chartered adventuring company. Company of the Iron Phoenix is what they go by.
Oh.
But so dangerous yet very capable, from what I've learned, and quite trustworthy as well. Good folk. Although I can't really say much about what happened to the people who are no longer in the group, but I'm sure that's not a concern.
And what happened to the others? in the group?
They left on their own travels.
Okay. Then
Nobody
that
died.
makes it-
Nobody died. They just some of them decided to stay behind when we went through that portal, and then one just kind of just left. But yeah, and then they all just followed their own little path, which was
Understandable.
sad. But yeah, the more the merrier.
I mean, we all need to follow our own paths, and I'm
Yes,
hoping this
the-
path leads to you all.
The more people we have, the easier we can teach Viz to fit in better.
I fit perfectly well. And Viz is just
In
is a
tiny
foot and a-
spaces, yes, not in social spaces.
foot and a half tall creature
Fit in
with
tiny spaces, not in social spaces.
dragonfly wings,
Yeah.
currently holding an 18-inch long dagger. As long as he is, so it looks like a greatsword, and he's just sort of weaving it around, trying to figure out how to use it as a suitable weapon. And he's just sort of floating and flying around through the air with this massive dagger, comparatively speaking. It's a beautiful black pommeled affair with a very keen edge. And he looks up and sees you and really notices for the first time and says, aha. Aha?
She just kind of cocks her head, like,
See what I'm
Are you-
saying?
Are you from home? You from the Feywild?
What?
And he switches to Sylvan. Are you from the Feywild?
And
You
she
look-
kind of raises her eyebrows.
You have the look
And-
and scent of a hag, yet you don't look like one.
Are you saying this in Sylvan, Viz?
Yes.
Cool. Does Wisteria understand Sylvan?
Yes, she does. And so she raises her eyebrows and responds in Sylvan. I am not technically from the Feywild. My current stature is a bit of a, how you say, rebirth or transformation that was made.
Oh, fascinating choice.
Choice is a word that you could use.
Transformations have someone making a decision somewhere along the way. Anyway, welcome. Join the party. It'll be fun.
Well, thank you.
I'm Viz. Pleasure to meet
It's a
you.
pleasure. Pleasure to meet you as well. Maybe
Yeah.
we both need a little help with fitting in. I know I don't look very normal.
Don't worry. And as he bows to greet you, flips over, the dagger shrinks in size to fit his hand, and he puts it in his belt. Yes, that was very good. I needed one of those. Welcome to the group. Fitting in is not what we have to do. what we have to do is deal with some other problems that are happening in the underside of this beloved little town.
Is this still in Southern?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you all are standing there listening, and Fix is kind of cocking his head as this is going on, and you all are standing there listening to this beautiful, almost melodic language that it's hard to even comprehend some of the sounds you're hearing them make as they go back and forth.
Yeah, Runman will be tinkering with, with penny swoops and show Asteria. Look, it is penny swoops. It's like a little clockwork sparrow. We're gonna make her real, kind of, because we still have that potion that we haven't used. Remember that you gave me so that she is like becomes a construct, right? Did Wiley forget that?
Nope.
However, we're gonna kind of make her real. Right now she can't do much, but I made her myself. But look, and she like bops her on the belly and lights up. Can't do much yet, but bop. So that's Penny Swoops. And
She's beautiful.
thank you
I
very
love
much.
her.
I hope on some point she can sing.
That'd be lovely. She goes out and reaches out. May I touch it?
Sure.
And she goes and like kind of touches it and pets it a little bit.
Yeah. That's why I'm an artificer. I kind of make that stuff.
That's very interesting. I love it.
Kessler kind of smiles and watches this unfold. Seems we're off to a good start. Would you, Wisteria, be willing? The party needs to run to the constabulary to see Zal. I think you've met Zal once or twice, or maybe seen him in here. Stocky, bald fellow, plate mail, never smiles, big sword.
Yes, that one.
Never smiles.
They need to go see
Absolutely.
him. So perhaps she might accompany you? And she kind of smiles with a knowing look at Fix and Ronvin and Rue and Viz.
Sure. Let's go.
I think that would
Or
make sense.
let's stay. I don't know. Where are we going? Are we staying here? We going
No.
there?
No, we need to go find Constable's office.
She will go
Gotta
over
find the law.
and unlock the door. It locks from both sides, and she had locked it on the inside. Very well. Do you need help carting your evidence? These
Yes.
chests and crates. I can
Absolutely.
have Orthrin get you set with a horse and cart if you wish.
And some cover for the box that's got the Zentarum logo on it so that the Zentarum don't notice that their stuff's being traded through town by other than Zentarum.
Yes, good.
Good idea.
Yes. If you'll make your way to the stables, and she pulls a piece of cloth, some kind of might go on a tablecloth, throws it over the crate with the Zentarum logo branded upon it. That'll get you to the stables. He'll give you proper rigging when you get there.
Excellent.
Very
Let's
well.
go.
Kessler, thank you
Wisteria.
for everything.
She leans in and gives you a hug and a kiss on each cheek. Do take care of yourself, and please don't be a stranger. I know we've only been friends for maybe a 10-day, but I feel somewhat responsible for you
Oh,
and your success. So
I won't be a stranger. No worries about that.
very well.
I have a feeling we'll be thanking you for this introduction by the time this is all through as well.
I am confident you will. And please, none of you be strangers. You're always welcome in the Red Rock, and the first ale is always on the house for the Iron Phoenix.
As Viz is heading out the door, he's like, stranger than most, and he's sort of spiraling out the door.
You hear her kind of laugh. Interesting enough, Viz, it's important to note, and you as well, Wisteria, that Kessler was in no way ever unnerved or even batted an eyelash at at Viz being a fairy and Wisteria clearly not looking like anyone who might be found wandering the streets of Dagger Falls. Never gave her pause, never batted an eyelash, just like any other day. So. So you guys make your way back to the stables where Orthrin is back there, doing this and that, maybe brushing a horse or shoeing a horse. So you can find your way back there if you wish. And he turns and he sees you. Oh, yes. What can I do for you?
Cart and horse, tarp.
Right. Very well. And he immediately sets about getting the proper tack harness. He gets the horse, leads it outside, gets it all hooked up, and brings the cart into the building. Smart enough to know that since you want it tarped, you probably want to load it inside. And at that point, we will go dark to your scene. And I'm going to ask the four of you, if you would be so kind as to remove your listening devices whilst I have a conversation with my friend Rance, who's been patiently awaiting his scene. Rance, hello.
Hi.
So you will find yourself, again, we've talked about this a little bit offline in preparation. You've been working in Dagger Falls at the Winding Trail. It's a caravan supplier, adventuring gear outfitter sort of place. You've been working for Asha Tanner, the proprietor there, doing teamster work, rigging, loading, delivering, things of that nature. And there's been some eye-opening developments in your young career there, to the point that you have decided it's in your very best interest to immediately seek out the constable of this fine village of Dagger Falls, Zal. And so our scene together will open with you seated in his reception area. It's sort of a small conference room arrangement, not unlike something that might be put together for an interrogation. It's a plain wooden table. There are two chairs on each side of it. It's sort of rectangular, maybe 4 feet by 2.5 feet. And you're seated there. You have a cup of water, a metal cup with very cold well water in it. You've been placed there by one of the deputies. The door is closed. There are no windows. And you sit awaiting the arrival of Constable Zal, who you've never met, but you've seen in passing a few times. He strikes a rather imposing visage. He's, goodness, let me see if I can get you some measurables and a good description of Constable Zal. He is very clearly, by his raiments, a paladin of the Morning Lord. I don't know if... goodness. I don't know if Rance would recognize the holy symbol of a sun rising over a horizon with rays. Why don't you roll me a religion check there, Rance?
Religion check. Okay. 15.
15. Okay, yeah, that's a good roll. You have seen this holy symbol here and there in your various travels in and around the region you're most familiar with. You recognize that to be the holy symbol of the Morning Lord, also formerly known as Lathander. He's all about light and life and lawfulness and goodness. Zal himself wears a full suit of plate mail. He proudly displays a gold holy symbol on a gold chain of the Morning Lord. It's been forged in gold, one might say. He has upon his breast, he has the shield and heraldry of Dagger Falls. He's the constable, so he leads the town of Dagger Falls, the military / constabulary. He's bald. He's well muscled. He's probably, middle aged, maybe late 40s, early 50s. He carries with him a great sword, an incredibly beautifully crafted great sword, and he looks like he is very easily able to wield it. 6'3", about 219 pounds, roughly.
big boy.
Gray eyes, very, very chiseled, attractive, charismatic fellow who rarely smiles. And so, give us a description of Rance as you sit in this room, waiting to take a chance, essentially, and meet with the constable.
Okay, so Rance is about 5'9", so he's a little bit taller than average. Average weight for his height. He's got long, unkempt black hair, tied with a red and white striped bandana around his head. He's got a beard, and a big gold ring in one ear. His clothes are pretty standard sailor style clothes. His skin has been tanned, tanned golden brown from long hours in the sun, and you can tell he's a guy who's used to quick physical work. But as anybody looking at him would see that he's got a bit of a nervous tick to him at the moment. He's obviously worried about something.
Very nice. So you end up sitting in there for probably 10, 15 minutes, which probably does nothing to aid your nervousness, when all at once the door opens and closes behind you. What do you do?
Ye must be the constable.
Yes, that I am. Constable Zal, and he steps around to get in front of you and offers a leather-gloved hand.
I'll reach out and shake it with a hearty shake and respond, aye, the name's Rance Rumblood.
Kind of tilts his head and looks at you, Rumblood. Scratches his very well-kept, shaven, smooth chin. This guy doesn't miss a day shaving. Everything is, his plate mail armor is nicely polished. It's not fancy or ornate. It's plain. It's utilitarian. It's clearly a military issue type plate mail. You've seen such things in your travels. But it is meticulously clean. Yes, Zal, Paladin of the Morning Lord, Constable of Dagger Falls, and he takes a seat. So tell me, what brings you here today? Rumblood, you say? Is that one word? Is that two words? I don't recognize that surname.
That be not a surname. That be the name my crew gave me. I'm from. I be from Scardale.
Oh.
I was quartermaster on a ship of entrepreneurs.
I see. Kind of rubs his chin and eyes you suspiciously. A ship, a crew, and everything be this or that. I think I understand. And he kind of smirks a little bit at his attempt at some wit when he leans on the word I think I understand. So, what has all that to do with Dagger Falls, and why are you here?
2 moons passed. We were trying to initiate negotiations with a merchant vessel. And this merchant vessel entered into the Moon Sea. And the Zentarim decided that they wanted to interfere. Mistook us for pirates. Could you imagine that? Mistaking us for pirates? No.
The Zents, you say?
Zents.
Where was this?
In the Moon Sea. About 20 leagues from Zentil Keep. They didn't take too kindly to my friends and colleagues. Slaughtered most of them, actually. took me to the keep. They heard my name and they knew something of me, and so they decided that I be a good asset for their organization.
You said 2 moons ago, and so what part of this tale of yours? He kind of rudely interrupts you, as if to be a little like, "Oh, come on, dude. What part of this tale is intended to endear you to me? Because so far, I'm not making any connection there."
I understand your reticence, but have patience, laddie. So I only joined the Zents because it was either Zents or the Noose. Savvy?
That's fair. Yeah, makes sense. So you're a man of some wisdom.
3 weeks ago, 10 days ago, the Zents grabbed a crew, put bags over our head, put us aboard a ship, and had us load crates onto a ship of a port we do not know. We had to take that to a port which we did not know, and we unloaded crates. Now these crates were filled with salt.
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 Oh, that's not an uncommon shipment so far. Not too exciting. We going to get to the point at some point here? Or?
So I made me escape. I didn't want anything to do with these Zents. Came up here, started working for Asha. Fresh start, you know.
So you've escaped the Zentarum.
Yes.
He looks you up and down. Do you have any weapons visible or anything, Rance?
Just a rapier on my put away in a scabbard. Yeah, just the rapier.
He's pacing at the other end of the room, listening, kind of arms folded, and he looks. So let me get this straight. You escaped the Zentarim with that? And he kind of chuckles and he unbuckles the greatsword from his back and just like kind of making sure you notice as he sets it with a kind of a heavy clank against the corner. I see. Well, you must be quite the swordsman then.
I can't say that I'd be quite the swordsman, but Valkyr certainly was on my side that day. So I work. I've been working for Asha for about 10 days now. Glink, the half orc, is my team master.
Well, yes, good man.
One day, about 3 days ago, Asha called me in to have a chat, and I was given a key, and I was instructed to go into the tavern there, the Red Rock, that be its name.
Oh, okay, yes. Oh, well.
I was given a key and told to go beneath the tunnels to deliver crates to a cavern, and then to retrieve crates and bring them back. Now, those crates had the logo of those bloody Zentarim. And in fact, Asha introduced me to an agent of the Zentarim named Blackhand, a lady of sorts. So
He kind of rubs his chin.
I tell you this, Constable, because there's foul things afoot in your town, and I don't think you want the bloody Zentarim here any more than I do.
As you're speaking, there's a rapid thunk, 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 kind of a knuckle against the heavy wooden door. Enter. Another deputy comes in and leans in, goes up to Zal, and no expression. And to this point, aside from his pointed questions here and there, Rance, there hasn't been any visual clue. You're thinking, man, this dude can probably play some poker. As to his actual reaction to your tale. I'll tell you what. And he looks at the deputy. Fetch the group to my private quarters here. And he kind of points a big thick finger in your direction. On your feet, you're coming with me. Hold your tail.
All right. So I hop on my feet with one hand nonchalantly and unaggressively on my blade.
Mm-hmm. He will grab his great sword and refasten it to his back. Where we're going, you won't need to worry about that blade of yours. And I will say this much, you're not in any trouble. But I have some people I need you to meet. And with that, he puts a... Go ahead.
I said,
Okay.
I lead the way.
He puts his hand on the kind of the back of your neck with a firm, strong grasp. He's not perp walking you, anything like that, but he's kind of directing you through some hallways. I'm going to throw the visual signal up. Hopefully that gets the kids to come back to the headsets. And so we'll just kind of hit pause on that scene real quick. As our team rejoins us. Hey, Rue. Hello there, Wisteria. Viz,
Hello.
very nice. Hello. Okay, just waiting on Ronvin. And there she is, like magic, as if, summoned by the dungeon master himself. Okay, so the party has rigged their gear and has led horse and cart through Dagger Falls and over to the very west end of the town where the constabulary to be. You've been led into the headquarters of the constabulary by one of the deputies, and he has led you to Zal's private quarters. He lives there, and he keeps a private quarters, very Spartan in decor. And you're in a large meeting room with a large long table. There's water on the table. There is a number of chairs around the table, and it's just the five of you, Fix is with you. And apparently you are awaiting an audience with Constable Zal as requested, which is somewhat surprising to you because they whisked you to his quarters, and the deputy, before leaving with the door closed, says, Constable will be right here. He's on his way. And to your recollection, this would be like the only time he seems to be responding quickly to your request for an audience. Usually he's busy with town matters and things and danger and all of that. But you do know that he was expecting your return from the tunnels, and so the group sits at the table.
So where's the cart now?
The cart would have been taken to the stable area of the constabulary. I would assume you probably instructed them to place it under guard, that sort of thing. So it's in about the safest place it can be in Dagger Falls. And so the five of you sit around this large, nice wooden table. Again, very simple. The place feels a bit like a military barracks, even though this is the constable's private audience room, if you will.
So, Syria, you're from this region?
Uh, not too far from here. I come from woods not too far from Dagger Falls. Uh, pretty much lived there all my life. What about you?
Well, traveling merchant. I've been bouncing here, there, and yonder for quite a while.
Very nice. What'd you sell?
Whatever I can buy. I move into towns. I buy one thing, sell another. We currently just got back from the land called Mystara, where we've been negotiating a trade arrangement with them, which is quite unique.
Interesting. Very interesting. Well, Viz, you seem to come from not from here. Is your home in the Feywild then?
Well, yes, of course. Where else would I come from? I don't know
Well.
if anywhere else produces fairies.
Fair enough. Haven't seen a fairy before, so intriguing to me.
Okay, well, here I am nonetheless. A scintillating bundle of joy.
Up until a few days ago, I can safely say I've never seen one before myself.
Now you
But
see
he's-
too much.
He's proven himself useful
Oh,
in some ways.
I mean, he can push a whole bunch of weight. I mean, he can be very useful. I still don't understand how he does it, but he does it. He can do the heavy lifting.
well, I can
Well.
hold my own. I'm not as beefy as your iron friend was.
No, no. But
Tiny
I
but
don't really
mighty.
think anybody else ever will. So
How big is Wisteria? Is she tall?
She's not very tall. I mean, like,
Okay.
like a standard, like 5'7", maybe.
Okay.
So, like, you know, not like extremely tall or super short.
As you all are talking, the door opens, and through the door enters, with Zal's hand at the base of his neck, a figure. Rance, go ahead and describe yourself again, this time for your fellow party members.
So, Rance, you see him come in. You see he's got longish, unkempt hair, with a red and white bandana tied around his head. He's got a scragglyish beard with a mustache, a gold ring in his ear. Underneath his leather armor, you can see just plain sailor's clothes, sailor's boots, a rapier at his side, and his skin is definitely sun-tanned. And as you look at his physique, you can tell he's 5'9", and of average weight, and you can tell he's done a lot of heavy lifting kind of work in his career.
He's human?
Human, yes.
So this figure enters, and right behind him you see Zal in all of his glory, his full plate mail. He has a leather-gloved hand on the back of Rance's neck. He's not directing him, he's not perp-walking him, he's not pushing him, he's just kind of, Zal's like man's man guy, and, I guess it's sort of like man connection. I don't know what it is, but that's just how he's rolling. And he kind of guides Rance in the direction of a chair, turns, closes the door, nods to someone outside the door as he closes it and locks it, and sits at a larger, nicer, but in no way ornate chair that is upholstered, where yours are just straight wooden chairs. Sits down, and nods to everyone. Good to see you. Good to see you all back in one piece. I trust you have news of your... And then he stops and notices Wisteria. You're that young lady that's been at the Red Rock with Kessler, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
Something about wellness or healing things, crafts. Seems you're quite the crafter. Do I have that right?
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Well met. I am Zal, Constable of Dagger Falls. What is your name, young lady?
Wisteria. The pleasure's all mine.
Very nice to meet you then. Ronvin, Viz, Rue, Fix, good to see you. Glad you're back and back in one piece. I understand you also have some evidence from your experience under the town. So we'll get to that in a moment or two. I would like to introduce, and he kind of looks over to Rance. This is Rance Rumblood, a man of some means and some tales, and he almost cracks a smile. I asked him to join us. He's telling me something about some things happening in Dagger Falls I think you're going to not only want to know, but may already know a bit about. And it seems that all of you need to be around a table with me so I can understand fully what it is everyone knows. And so what I think we'll do is, and he points at Rance a little rudely, just not to be rude, but more because he's just not a smoothie social guy. You need to tell your story starting from working at the winding trail. The other stuff, very interesting. I don't know how relevant it may be now, but please pick up again. I hate to ask you to go through a bit of that again, but it wasn't much. So please share. Oh, and this, by the way, with the exception of young Wisteria here, and the little skinny boy, he's a part of the Iron Phoenix, is he not? Looks at Rue, looks at Viz.
He's a new
Ronvin.
acquaintance, but he certainly has proven himself.
Very good. Very good. And he kind of, like, maybe Fix is sitting closest, and he kind of pats him on the back, and, Fix is like, a little too much there. Well met, then, Wisteria. I assume that Kessler had a purpose in sending you.
Yes, she thought that it would be good for the company to let me join. Hopefully my talents could be useful in helping in their endeavors.
Yes, I'm sure crafting and wood carving and the like would be very important for the group. Yes, well, at any rate, I'm glad you're here. And he kind of, tilts his head like, what? And then looks, immediately just turns away, kind of, little chauvinism, dismissiveness, like if you're lucky, you might get mansplained in a couple minutes, kind of an attitude. Yeah, just what everybody loves. Yeah. And so he turns to, so you, fancy pants here, pirate guy. Yeah, tell us about your story, starting at the winding trail, if you would, please.
Aye. The winding
Oh, just
trail.
a minute. Is anyone thirsty? And he just kind of shuts you down. Ale? Water?
Rum?
Coffee?
Rum?
Ale would be great. Thank you.
He there's a staff carved beautifully, kind of leaned against the table beside the chair. He grabs it and bangs on the door, and you hear keys in the lock, and a head pokes in. Ales around the table, and find rum and Wisteria. What would you like to drink?
I'm good right now, thank you.
And then he looks at Fix. Milk. Very well. And he kind of pushes the door shut over his shoulder with the staff and sets it back at the table. Okay. Rance. Rum pants.
Rum pants. Rum blood.
Rum blood.
I get here. I need some job. I work for Asher Tanner at the Winding Trail with Glink, Goodfellow. Asha asks Rank and me to do a bit of special work. She then introduces us to some fancy pants Xantarim lady named Blackhand. Gives us a key to the tunnels underneath Red Rock, the tavern. And we were tasked to deliver unmarked crates to a cavern. And then load crates of salt and bring them back up and out the back of the red rock onto a wagon to be sent away. That be me tale.
What, okay, so like I said, you, Rance, sorry about the rum thing, you're not in any trouble, but it sounds to me like you've been engaging in criminal activity. So my question for you, why on earth did you come to me with this? I'm a little curious.
As Rome is, go ahead in a second, but as Rome begins to answer, I'm going to pull out the paper with the contract on it and try to subtly hand it to the constable without Rome Blood seeing it.
Okay.
Rance thinks about it for a second, and then he says, I be not wanton to engage in any criminal enterprises, especially if it involves those bloody Zentarim.
When did you say you were moving these crates around? Was it last week?
Yeah, last 10 day.
Okay.
And it's happened several times.
I see. Okay. All right. And he grabs the paper from Rue, completely blowing any attempt at nuance or stealth. What have we here? Rue, Shahar, Rance, Rumbottom, Ronvin. Ronvin, this is Rance, and he's holding up the paper, and he points at Fix and says, Viz, this is Rance, and he points to Ronvin. And then he kind of looks down over the paper. Wait, Viz, that's Rance. Fix. And then Wisteria's new. Rance is new. Rance, do you know Wisteria?
I think I've seen her in the tavern from a distance.
Likely. Wisteria and Rance. Rance and Wisteria. Okay, so let's see. What have we here? Wait a minute.
Ronan kind of goes like to Rune and says, I'm going to start wearing a name tag.
His eyes get really big, which is sort of a strange reaction for him, because this is an unflappable, gruff, serious, this guy is oozing lawful goodness, right? Kind of guy, but the malicious side of lawful, the paladinly lawful goodness, not the chivalrous, friendly, warm, fuzzy, flumpy lawful goodness. This appears to be a contract, he says with great wisdom in his voice. And what did you say the name of that Zent lady you met, Rance? What was that again?
All they called her was Black Hand.
Ah! Here it is. Here it is, the connection. I knew it. I knew you needed to be here at the same time. And he slams the contract down. There is something nefarious happening beneath our town.
What was in these crates? Is it rum blood?
Salt be in the crates.
You took the salt down to the caverns.
No, we took the salt up from the caverns.
What did you take to the caverns?
Crates, heavy crates.
Of what?
We did not look.
They were, it's the Dungeon Master's Guide, page 291, crates of heaviness.
Crates of heaviness.
Yeah, they're magic items. Yeah.
+1 heaviness.
Crates of great density. Well, I could hazard a guess, but I'm curious. Rue, Ronvin, Viz, Fix, what do you have to say of your time beneath Dagger Falls? What did
Not a
you...
problem?
Oh, you think?
You know what hellhounds are?
Hold on, Viz. I'm not sure how much we should say in front of. He kind of gestures at Rumboy. You want us to be completely forthright?
By the light of the morning, Lord, yes. Yes, I do. Rance and I seem to have come to a quick understanding, or maybe I have, but this young lad came to me, looked pretty nervous when I first entered the room, and has confessed to essentially what amounts to smuggling. He's implicated a leading citizen in our community in the person of Asha Tanner. He's potentially implicated Miss Kessler because everything's moving through her building. And he's identified some sort of strange salt for crates. What's in these crates? I'd like to hazard a guess, but I want to hear more about what you learned in the tunnels. So if you would please speak openly, I would be much obliged.
Slaves, weapons, devils, hellhounds,
Hang on.
more weapons,
Weapons I get. That was my guess.
armor.
You said devils. Let's back up to the devils. I have a problem with that. I have a big, hairy problem with devils. What? No, wait. What do you mean
They
devils?
They weren't very hairy. They were kind of crystalline, like they had salt all over them or something. And then there were hellhounds, and they breathed fire. That was very nice. But yes, you have an infestation of devils, and they seem to be mining the salt. I don't know why.
Hence the contract.
Hence,
Some of these names on here, I can't make any of these out. I don't recognize the language.
Yeah, I see it.
Oh, yes.
There's also a small problem
yes,
with
of
potentially
course.
a portal. I don't know. There was a circle with runes and stuff.
Okay. Time out. We're going to stop right there. He bangs on the door as it starts to open, and you hear the crash of several bits of crockery and the splash of drinks and a groan. Oh, there's the beverages. Come in, please. Someone fetch me the High Morn Master straight away. Tell him to come to my chambers at once and clean up that mess. And he pushes the door shut with his staff. And you see some froth of ale begin to leak under the door. And he slides and kind of stands up and leans, kind of pushes the paper over in front of Wisteria.
When I read it, do I recognize the language that's on there?
What languages do you recognize, Miss Wisteria?
Abyssal, Common, Druidic, Infernal, and Sylvan.
Yes. Allow me to message you in the Discord, the mystical,
Yes.
magical messaging.
Whispers.
Whispers.
So while you wait, they bring more drinks quickly and clean up the mess in the hall. And everyone has a nice tankard of cold, frothy ale. Fix has a nice cold glass of goat's milk in front of him. Wisteria, nothing, because you said very clearly nothing. And so you may banter amongst yourselves while I do some quick typing to reveal what Wisteria is able to glean from this rather profane-looking, garish-looking language on this contract that none of you are able to decipher. Well, Fix said he thought he could, but he was busy identifying things.
Yeah, Rue's gonna down his ale pretty quickly.
Viz is going to try to keep up, but it's really ridiculous because he's just sort of tilting deeper and deeper into the mug as it goes down and down and down.
You guys look up from your drinks and you see that the rum is gone. He's already down the whole thing.
They did bring a bottle and a glass, knowing that he assumed that you'd want the entire bottle.
Yeah. So one glass is down.
Okay, I'm just checking something real quick here. In the old.
So you met
Here I was thinking
Black-
Captain Jack Sparrow with a bottle careening around.
So you met this Black Hand character. What did you make of her?
Typical Zentarim agent. I have some experience with them. They somewhat higher up. Probably would not want to fight her if I didn't have to.
And she was essentially running this operation.
Yeah, she'd be the one in charge. Nasty Zents.
Yes, indeed. But she didn't come into town. She stayed underground.
No, we were ushered in to to a back room at the Winding Trail, where we being Glink and I at the Winding Trail. That's the
The outfitter.
yeah, caravan outfitter.
And where's
That's where we met her.
Who and where's this Glink?
Glink, you guys have met Glink when you've equipped before at the Winding Trail. He's a big half-orc that is like the lead teamster. Yeah.
Got it.
Yep.
Okay. I did not remember him.
So, I can glean what this says. So there's Inferno on this paper, which is no shock since there's devils involved in this. So, it seems to be on the signature. There are runes that indicate Minaros and Mammon. Do those names ring a bell?
Zal's eyes just. Memon, you say?
Yeah, there were symbols down there about him.
Oh. Well, that would be the archdevil that these miners must serve. He rules the plane of Minaros. The plane of lost souls, if I'm not mistaken. He's the trafficker in souls.
Yes, there was a portal to his room down there. that we
What
found.
became of that? Is it still there?
It is.
As the conversation goes, the door opens and in blows the High Morn Master himself, Oren Hyandar, I think his name is. I'll verify that. And as soon as he comes in, Zal stands and kind of genuflects, puts his hand on his chest, clasps his holy symbol.
Roos stands but doesn't genuflect.
Please have a seat, High Morn Master Handar.
Viz tips himself out of his ale mug and looks up with a slightly inebriated grin and lets out a long, squeaky belch.
Nice. You all have met. I don't know about Viz and Fix, but the rest of the party. Harndar Oren. Sorry, I had the name a little backwards.
We've all met
Yeah,
him.
you've all met him. He's an older gentleman. Looks very slender. White robes. A very beautifully carved gold holy symbol of Lathander, which very similar to Zal's, suspended on a chain, very, very prominently displayed. Yes, so I came right away, Constable. What seems to be the situation here? Good to see you all back safe and sound, and I don't believe I know you two, but I'm sure we'll get to that. And Zal says, well, it turns out we're dealing with servants of Mammon, and the High Morn Master kind of the trafficker in lost souls. What on earth would they want with Dagger Falls?
Salt, apparently. They're salty fellows.
No, I think they were selling the salt to the Centaur for weapons and money, presumably.
So you found weapons
We did.
in crates.
Yes.
And he looks over at Rance and nods. See, corroborating stories. This is good. And you found salt?
They were mining salt. Using slaves.
And the Morn Master, kind of the color leaves his face. Mammon, he's the financier of the Hells. He values wealth above all else, and he rules over Minaros. Oh. Did you say there was coin down there in a portal?
Yep.
Yes.
Well, looked like a portal. Circle, sigils.
Yes. Portal. Oh, my. Well, my goodness. The Lord of the Sinking City is upon us. What can this mean? And what did the Centarim have to do with this?
They were providing the weapons in exchange for the salt.
Oh, I see. Simple trade, then. It always boils down to, with the Centarim, simple, basic criminal operations. And Zal kind of nods his head. So what is the state of affairs beneath Dagger Falls right now? How did you leave things?
We freed some unfortunate creatures which had been the basis of a slave mining operation.
Good.
So
Where are they? Did you bring them with you?
no, they ran as soon as we freed them.
Where to?
Presumably deeper below the surface.
Why would they go deeper below and not seek their freedom?
That's apparently where they were from.
Oh. And the High Morn Master just sits very peacefully, is kind of studying faces, listening intently with this just look of concern, grievous concern upon his face. Kind of strokes his holy symbol now and then as you all talk. What of the portal?
We took a pickaxe to some of it. Don't know if we made a dent.
Oh, it will need to be. It will need to be properly disposed and blessed. My priests can handle that. We just need to go down there and. Can you lead us there, or can you show us the way? Did you map the? Where is it?
It's past your known tunnels. We found a secret entrance that goes even deeper.
Roll insight, anybody who's paying close enough attention and watching faces.
23.
16.
10.
Okay, so I'm going to say 15 and up. You saw a very quick knowing look between High Morn Master Orin and Zal when Viz mentioned that there is a tunnel beyond the cavern. Zal did not look back, did not flinch, did not sniff, did nothing. So there's a portal, there are tunnels. so on and
Tunnels that run
so
even
forth.
deeper. That's where the Darrow went.
And there were
Deeper,
Darrow.
deeper.
This is troubling. So, High Mornmaster, your most blessed, you say that you can close, destroy, banish, don't know the proper, this portal? And he looks and nods, yes, of course. This is certainly something well within the blessings of Lathander, the Morning Lord. You should come with us, Constable. He nods. Could you, and he kind of looks at Viz and then Fix, could you map us? Could you recall enough to get us a map that my men and I and the priests of the Morning Lord could go down and have a look? And
We can certainly try.
Very well.
I'm good with manual arts, but let's try it.
We should also. Oh, sorry.
Please go ahead.
We should also consider taking a crew down there to look at potentially sealing that door so that they can no longer freely come to and from the town.
yes, that is troubling. I must say, that door has been there for decades, and I'm not. I want to know. I really want to know how they came to be able to open and use that door.
You knew about this door?
Yes. And the Mornmaster
You chose not to tell
nods.
us this?
We did not believe that there were anyone who knew of or would be able to breach the door in any way, save the few of us here in Dagger Falls. I'm going to have to look into how that door became usable. Rance, you say Tanner introduced you and called you to this task of moving these goods back and forth, right?
Yeah, she said she had special work for Glink and me, and brought us
Yes, very special indeed.
brought us to meet the Black Hand lady.
Yes.
Where the details of the operation were outlined.
So what we have, thank you, Rance. What we have here is a tunnel that leads to an entrance into the Underdark. And he stops for a bit of dramatic effect. Looks around the room.
Rance
and-
makes a holy gesture.
Anything anyone might recognize that is a understander of things religious? Or is it like a super secret inside holy gesture that only worshippers of your deity would know?
No, just a if anybody's been around the sea, they might recognize it as maybe as a sailor's gesture for protection, kind of superstition kind of thing.
Yeah. There have been occasions over the years where folk in Dagger Falls have benefited from a connection to the Underdark that predates me, that predates Cormeril, that goes back. But we've been entrusted with that tunnel entrance beneath the town, and it seems that that trust has been betrayed. And Orin nods his head, looking at Zol. So, yes, we were in no way prepared to divulge the existence of that secret door, nor did we think for one moment that anyone would find it. So I must say I'm impressed with the Iron Phoenix. It seems I've underestimated your abilities. But
How did you not think there was a connection between evil creatures under the town and an entrance to the Underdark?
stay with me here. First of all, what we had under the town in the tunnels was a killing. A rather mysterious killing at that, but a killing nonetheless. There is also entrance and egress down another tunnel from another one of the chambers that leads above ground. And so we are aware that there is egress and ingress into the tunnel system below Dagger Falls from that location, and it is there that I thought perhaps could be the soft spot. I wished for you to hopefully find that, which apparently you did not. But there has been nothing come through that door in generations, in hundreds of years. So my rather poor assumption that it would be that entrance that was breached rests upon the fact that there's been nothing through that door until now in hundreds of years. So it seems, and he kind of looks over at Orin, and he looks at the rest of you, it seems we have a breach of trust amongst the circle of individuals in Dagger Falls who are aware of that door's existence. And for that matter, I will trust to the High Mornmaster. He and I will take care of that. We will see to that. However, the investigation of this Zentarim involvement beneath our very feet, through our very buildings, he says with a very venomous, angry tone. That is a matter for the Iron Phoenix, should you wish to continue. And I hope you do. Seems that perhaps your numbers have swelled by at least one, and he kind of smiles kindly at Wisteria. And he looks at Rance. Rance, you would do well to associate yourself with folks of this ilk if you wish to, shall we say, adjust your course from its previous attack.
And if I can strike a blow to the Zentarim, all the better.
Yes. So, it seems that perhaps, should Rue and Viz and Ronvin and Fix, and he kind of looks at each of you, decide to approve whatever your mechanism is for initiating or gaining new membership into your organization, it seems you may have 2 new potential recruits. My concern is this. You all know a great deal. As the sun sets on this day, you know things that very, very few people in Dagger Falls are aware of. And so I have to absolutely beseech you to keep this amongst us. I will say this much. Kessla, Asha Tanner, Lorivar, and Carrie Willow are the other 4 who know of the door. I am gravely concerned about the situation at the Winding Trail, and I will look into that one myself with the men under my command. Wisteria, has any of this ever come up in conversation with Kessla? Mind you, you're seated before an exceptionally gifted blessed paladin of the Morning Lord and the Hind Morn Master of the Blessed Morning Lord himself. But just consider that before you answer.
She's just like stunned for a second, like by like the intimidation factor that's being said. It's like, well, from my recollection, don't I don't remember Kesla ever saying anything about any of this. To be completely honest with you, unless that is different from what I said before, but I believe Wisteria does not know anything.
He rolled a 22 on Intimidate. Now, it wasn't a violent intimidation. It wasn't a raise. It's very, very matter of fact. Like, he's promised you there will be concerns, and you believe him if you tell a lie. And to the best of Wisteria's knowledge, because none of this has popped up in your backstory yet, so to not put you too badly on the spot, the DM will say that you just answered it absolutely honestly, because that's what you know. And it has not been raised in any conversation. Yeah.
So trust me, I would never lie to you. That would be quite absurd in this situation because I want to take care of this devil situation just as much as you all do. So,
Yes.
as far as I know, Kesla hasn't said anything.
Well,
At least
very
not
well.
around me.
Have you ever seen crates move through the Red Rock?
Has she?
You probably would not have, in that you spend your time in the front of the house, whether you're kind of working, enjoying time with Kesla. You've been back to her office a few times, just chit-chatting, having an occasional wine or whatever nice beverage you enjoy. But you've never really been in the back half of the Red Rock until today. And so, Rance, your occasional seeing Wisteria would have been also in the tap room.
Well, I'm sorry I couldn't give you more information.
No, that is fine.
Past that.
Asha is newer to the community. Kesla has been here 50 plus years. I know her as if I had raised her, which is odd because she's a bit older than I am, but she shows it very well. But if you would please indulge me, I need your absolute promise of confidence that nothing that's been discussed here will be discussed outside these walls, save amongst yourselves in a place that you feel that you may be undiscovered having conversations. Am I clear?
Very much so.
I appreciate that. Rance, might I ask you, are you aware of any other conspirators in this operation of moving goods back and forth between the winding trail through the Red Rock and down below Dagger Falls? You're muted there, Chief.
I can't see that. I don't think there was anyone else. Not even when we moved the goods through Red Rock, there be not a soul in the building.
Was Kesla? Do you know Kesla? Have you met her? The proprietor of the Red Rock?
The proprietor. No, she was not there. I have not. I hadn't been seeing her.
I see. And yet you had a key. From whom was the key procured?
From Asha.
Right. Okay. All right. Well, interesting. Wouldn't be odd that Asha would have a key to the Red Rock. Some goods are delivered there now and then that pass through. See, Asha does quite a business at the Winding Trail with gear, with sundries, caravan supplies, dungeoneering equipment, all manner of things, dried foodstuffs, and so it would make sense that she might have a key to the Red Rock, interesting. So it seems that my men and I have some work before us, getting to the bottom of the breach of trust. What might the Iron Phoenix consider as far as the direction you wish to take things on your end? You have this Zentarum salt mining thing that it appears you've put to an end, to which I owe you 200 gold. I'll see to it that you're paid your bounty for services rendered per our agreement.
That's a lot of gold.
Well, they do a lot of good. The company, the Iron Phoenix, has been most helpful in a number of pressing matters here in Dagger Falls, and they continue to prove their worth, and I think it would do both of you good to consider their offer of employment, he says rather presumptuously, looking at Rue. Looking at Ronvin. Viz. Fix.
What do you know of this Luala Black Hand constable?
Good question. I do not recognize the name. The situation with the Zentarum has been quiet for a few generations, really. We've this. I don't know how many of you know the rich history of Dagger Falls, but this, unbelievably so. But this village was once occupied by agents of the Black Network. They actually took over Dagger Falls for a time. It's an excellent, perfectly situated location for trade. Travel on the Tesh River to an extent in the spring when the water's high, but that's beside the point. It lies upon a good east-west trade road. It's a key part of the Dale Lands, which grants allies and access to the other Dales. A strategic point, no doubt. And so my concern is that this Black Hand and the Zentarim have a mind to perhaps assail us again. That is my concern. But to your point, I do not know anything or have never heard of this Black Hand. And you say, Rance, that she seemed to be a person of some import in the organization?
From the month that I spent in the employ of the Black Hand or the Black Network, it seems to me that she's a bit higher up.
See. Wisteria, might I have that document back, please? And thank you for translating. Very nice. And Fix kind of shoots you a look like, I could have done that. You don't know where that's coming from, but he seems a bit perturbed. He just kind of rolls his eyes and shakes his head.
Like cocks his head.
Yeah.
She cocks her head as she hands the paper back, looking at Fix, giving that look.
And Rue and the rest of the party, as you had seen the document, and I may have neglected to describe this in quite this detail, but it was like a two-sided, or one half of it was scratched out in these profane-looking, angrily written runes, and then the other half was in common, and that's obviously the half you could read with the terms of the contract, the signatures of Luala Blackhand and Jamna Gleamsilver. And he kind of scratches his chin a little bit. See this here, and he kind of points under the names. Luala Blackhand, I don't know who that is, but it says beneath her name, Viper. Viper is in the hierarchy of the Zentarum. I respect this much about them. They are very much disciplined, militaristic, and in the hierarchy of this lovely organization, the Viper is a sort of middle rank, well above foot soldiers and common street thugs and sword arms that you see mostly on the roads, transporting goods and guarding caravans. You see, that's their business. And he kind of looks at everyone sort of sarcastically. They're sword arms for hire, mercenaries, if you will. And they also do some teamster work, and they trade in weapons. All legally, of course. But I think anyone who knows anything about the Zentarum knows that that is all just a face, a front for goodness knows what. Apparently, the salt trade. I'm sure there's a lot of value in excellent salt. He kind of, at any rate, Viper is a middle-ranking leadership role, and this here, and he points beneath Jamna Gold, whatever, gleam britches, and it says our dragon. Now this is interesting. Our dragon, that is one level rank beneath Dreadlord, and there is but one Dreadlord serving the Zentarum at a time. So this our dragon, this Jamna, there's something to all of this. This is an important, may seem like small. How much salt are we talking about? Any idea?
We have one crate that we brought with us. I can't remember how many other crates did we see.
There was a dozen down there stacked, and there was piles and mounds. There's quite a good bit of salt. Rance, any idea as far as, what you've been moving
Several wagon loads full.
over the past couple of 10 days? Okay, well, so a small operation by mining standards, by Zentarum standards, but again, if this salt is pure enough and good enough quality, it can fetch a good price on the spice markets. Surely the Zentarum are merely using that as a way to generate connections. Goodness knows who they're dealing it to or with, for what purpose, but it should generate income and connections.
Rance suddenly comes to his senses and goes through his pocket and hands you a bill of landing.
Ah, what have we here?
And the bill of landing says that the destination is Flan.
Where did this come from? One of the salt crates?
Yes.
Oh, I see. Where does the bill of lading find itself attached to the crate? Is that underground, or is that part of Asha's little operation?
Asha.
I see. Yes, so here we are, and he kind of shows the bill of lading at the table, and it shows its start point as Dagger Falls, and its end point as Phlan, Phlan, a decent-sized settlement, port settlement on the north shore of the Moon Sea, which is a really good-sized, fairly deep body of water. Zental Keep, and in fact, it is from the Moon Sea. Little known fact. Norm, little known fact there that the Moon Sea flows into the Tesh River as it makes its way past Dagger Falls there. Can I get another beer there, Sammy? Thank you. Anyway, sorry, for those of you old enough, that was a very poor attempt at Cliff.
That was pretty darn good.
Cliff Clavin on Cheers. They're a little known fact. So at any rate, the Moon Sea, this big freshwater lake, rather deep, its western end turns into the Tesh River and flows right past Dagger Falls. And actually, it flows down the other way into the Moon Sea.
So how
Tesh
far
River.
is Flan? How far is Flan?
Oh,
there?
well, let me see. I made a scale map thingy here. Let me just see. 50, 100. Zental Keep is a good 120, another 50 or so. Oh, under 200 miles on the trade road to the Moon Sea. Another, I'd say about 200 miles to Flan.
Okay, so Zental Keep is between the two.
It is, yes. It's right at the mouth of the Tesh River where it meets the Moon Sea. So, yes, it seems you've... says here that the Zentarum will supply slave labor should the need arise. Goodness. And Highmorn Master just shakes his head. And if you recall, earlier when all of this was going on, when the dagger issues were happening in the Dagger Reforged Inn and Tavern, there were some young people that had gone missing, a few townsfolk from Dagger Falls who had gone missing. And so it is possible that they were mining this very salt. So, two things we discussed before you went underground, if you recall. One was there's an important caravan coming west from Flan. And if you recall, there have been some issues on the road with murders, things gone missing, caravans not arriving. And this particular caravan is important to Lord Cormeril as he has some personal items making their way to Dagger Falls in the caravan. And one of the things we thought about was perhaps the Iron Phoenix might find themselves scouting the road, heading east, to see if you can determine what has been waylaying people. Is it just bandits we just need to deal with? We've had a couple soldiers who were hired out as guards for a couple of the caravans go missing. Very troubling. So there's that matter that you might attend to, maybe staking out the road, conducting a search, some distance from here, I would assume. Or, I don't know, what else might you consider now that we've uncovered this nefarious operation?
I had a thought of some trickery that might be of service to you.
Oh, please. I don't normally rely upon trickery, but I suppose in this case.
Yes, unfortunately, that's in many cases the language that the Zentarum speak.
Mm-hmm.
Supposing that you were to convince Asha that she was being visited by one Luella Blackhand, you imagine that she might give up some information that would be useful to you?
He kind of looks over at Rance. Were you able to determine what sort of relationship Tanner and Blackhand shared? How they talk to one another? Did they seem well acquainted?
When Asha brought us into the room, they locked eyes for a second, and it was clear that Asha was not the superior in the relationship, and quickly left us with they definitely know each other. They've met. They have an arrangement, and Asha knows her part.
Her part, her place even. So you're saying to me that this arrangement is really being driven by this Blackhand, this Viper of the Black Network.
We did have a run-in with Luella once before.
Oh. Tell me more about this. So you know her.
I believe we mentioned this to you after we came back from bringing Spurnick back.
Oh, the dragon business, the cult situation. Was that her? That was the Zentarum that waylaid you or parlayed you or whatever at the oh. Well, what was she like?
She is not to be trifled with, for sure. Definitely a very intimidating person. I suspect that, as Rance put it, that there are not many relationships in which she is the inferior.
I see. He seems a little displeased with your answer, like it kind of pissed him off. So, back to your trickery. How will you lure her to come meet with... I'm not understanding clearly how this meeting will transpire exactly.
I have some means of disguise. I suspect that we would be able to we would not bring Luala here. The idea would be to have someone pose as Luala and
Wait. Now, Rance, you say that these two know one another. Tanner knows her place or her part or role, whatever, and you think someone could actually pose as this imposing, not to be trifled with Viper of the Black Network.
Well, if we could pull it off.
It sounds
We put our heads together.
very, very risky to me. I'm sort of a full frontal assault, sort of tactical approach to things, but if this were to be successful, I could see, based on what Rance has said here, that perhaps Tanner might speak openly and give us some information. Rance! Wow. Perhaps we can do even one better. Maybe we should send Rance back to work.
Aye.
And perhaps he might help with the conversation with this Black Hand poseur and Tanner.
Maybe I can even tell you when they're meeting next.
Maybe he could tell us when they're meeting next. That would be most helpful. So, Rue, you think you know someone who can pull off an impersonation of this Black Hand, and he kind of looks quite obviously at Ronvin, and then his eyes kind of cross over to Wisteria as if he's assuming it's going to be one of those two. Because, Luala apparently is female, and so are they.
Well, I do have the ability to alter how I look, if that's what you're referring to. And she, waves her hand over her and she makes herself look like Rue.
The High Mornmaster stands up.
Myself.
What wizardry? By the light of the Morning Lord, what on earth? Zal, who have you before you here? He kind of stands there a little concerned as he strokes his... And he looks at Rue, and he looks at Wisteria, and he looks back at Rue. Might I... He kind of calms himself. Might I... cast a spell in your presence? It won't affect anyone. It's a means of divining one's nature. And he looks at Zal, and Zal's kind of like, yeah, let's do that. Let's divine one's nature. Kind of a look on his face.
I beg your pardon.
I wish to... I mean, of course, unless you wish to divulge or disclose how, by what wizardry you've managed to make yourself look precisely like Rue. To the facial detail.
There are many magics that can do this. Our friend.
Know that.
Fix.
No, I was gonna say. Mike's character. I'm blanking.
Vagili.
Fragile, thank you. Our friend Fragile was able to do something similar.
She kind of gets out of the image of Rue. Well, you probably won't believe this, but I've gotten my magic from spirits of nature, communing with nature and being one with nature.
He gets this very suspicious look on his face. If I might be permitted, since you've called upon your spirits of nature, as you say, if I might be able to be calling upon my blessed spirit, the Morning Lord, and evoke a bit of divination myself, it would help me understand more clearly. And I'm sure it's all here as a disciple and loyal blessed paladin of Lathander, Order of the Aster, in fact. And you see Zal nod. With your permission.
Can I make an insight check to see what their intentions
You
are?
most certainly may.
Okay.
Also like to make that check. if I
You
could.
also may make your insight rolls, friends.
Mysterious weirded out. Oh man, crap. Oh man, that was a low roll. Insight. Crap, man. Okay, so that's a 9.
9 for me as well.
I've got a 19.
Okay, so Wisteria, Rance, Viz, are you in on this as well?
With a 1 and a 6 on advantage, yeah, no.
Fix kind of leans back with this smirk on his face, looking at Wisteria like you can tell what this look is, Wisteria. He's thinking you just got like busted, and we're all going to find out what charade you're, up to. He's still sulking a little bit over the whole reading of the contract piece. And Rance, you're kind of like not picking up really what's going on here. They seem, you're looking at essentially the Catholic Church confronting some form of paganistic witch or something from the woods out back. That's kind of the tone these guys are starting to take with Wisteria, especially after that little display. So, Rance, you're confident, and you are as well, Wisteria, that these two mean what they say. You're sensing no duplicity, no skullduggery. They are earnest. They are looking you dead in the eye. They seem to be taken at their word. Rue with a 19. You are triple dog dare, double dipped, soaked in honesty, confident that these dudes offer no ill will or bad intent. While the other two seem to like, yeah, okay. You're like, these guys? You're talking to a priest, the High Morn Lord himself, the leader of the Temple of the Morning Lord. High Morn Master, excuse me.
Yeah. I guess
I'll just put a hand
go on.
over on her shoulder and just say, if you can trust us, you can trust them.
Well,
I will be casting a spell that enables me to divine the nature, the goodness, or the absence of goodness, the presence of evil, if you will. I can know and discern anything that may have been consecrated or desecrated within this room. That is all. I will not be altering myself or anyone, merely allowing the light of Lathander to give me true vision. And you could see very clearly Fix is sitting there and he just rolls his eyes like... and he's almost like, the light of Lathander grants me, kind of... And of course, Orin is not really even aware of Fix, sort of somewhat behind him. And so, feeling that he's been given your blessing, he bows his head, he clutches his holy symbol. Lord of light and life, all that is holy and good in this earth, grant me your vision, your purest of knowledge of all which is good, all which is evil, the true nature of all the beings and objects and presences in our midst. And then he just grows quiet, and then he makes some little gesture, and then he sits back and starts to look around the room with his hands very, very confidently, almost smugly. And he regards each of you. He looks at Viz and smiles and nods. He looks at Wisteria with a very knowing look on his face. And, Zal's kind of like, what? Tell, he's got this look on his face like, tell us, what is it? What do you see? He's anxious. And finally, after maybe 18 seconds of unpleasant silence, He leans forward and he looks at Zol. I feel very good about the nature of our group here today. I do apologize deeply to you, young lady, for a negative assumption. While I don't hold with your arcane practices, I do not judge them. I, in fact, respect them deeply, and I am pleased to make your acquaintance.
Oh.
And then he smiles at Viz. Same goes. He looks over at Rance. Go ahead.
Oh, I understand first appearances can be deceiving.
Well, the horns and the snake thing is a little...
I understand.
It's off-putting, but I understand, and he kind of reaches across the table with both of his hands to offer to clasp your hands.
She accepts.
He clasps your hands. May the light of Lathander shine upon your soul, your mission, your purpose. And he casts bless upon you. He
responds.
As he looks at Rance. Rance is taking a swig of some rum.
Yeah.
And in response to that, she goes, "May the spirits of nature guide you to your destiny," and releases.
Very, very nice, child. Yes. Destiny. Yes, of course. And he looks at Rance, and he looks at Zal, and he looks at Rance. This one here, he seems trustworthy enough. I do not sense any ill will or unclean. Well, I don't sense any ill will from this one. Certainly not evil. But perhaps the depth of purity is still yet to be determined. Yes, we'll go with that. Thank you for indulging me. And, meanwhile, Fix is like twiddling something around. And he's like, can we be done now with your little parlor tricks? That kind of thing. Anyone wish to make an arcana? And I'll even go with religion if you wish to understand what he just cast. If anyone's curious.
Sure, I'll try.
Yes.
I'm curious, but not expecting much.
13.
14.
18.
The three of you are pretty confident. He just cast. He did tell you he was going to be divining, and so your understanding of Lathander and his, domain of light and life, and you sense that he probably cast some magical spell to divine detecting evil and good. And Wisteria, you in particular know that he has determined your actual, true, very actual nature, as goes with Viz as well, because of the way the spell works.
Yeah.
You have become quite apparent to him. And so his reaction is one of peace, satisfaction, and as such, by extension, then Zal seems to be a little more relaxed about the entire operation, the entire situation. Good enough for the priest of Lathander, good enough for Zal. So then, Rue, where, when, how do we put this, or perhaps maybe, are you suggesting that I wait to investigate the winding trail so that you might have an opportunity to ply your trade? And he looks at Wisteria.
I think it could be of benefit to your investigation.
So, Rance, do you happen to know when Blackhand will be visiting Tanner again? Any idea?
She visits once a 10-day.
See. How might
Let-
we work this so that our Black Hand, and he kind of looks at Wisteria, whole different regard for you in the last couple of minutes, both you and Viz. Viz, he's always kind of been pretty dismissive and a little bit by the whole fairy thing, but his demeanor has changed toward both of you. How might we work this so that our Black Hand meets with Tanner while somehow with the other Black Hand is like the timing is right?
How long has it been since they met? Right.
It's all you.
It has been 2 days since the last meeting.
See, so we have 8 days yet. What if this? Perhaps, Rance, you can go back to work. Continue doing your thing as if we've never met. What if our Black Hand were to visit Tanner immediately after the real Black Hand visits, like she comes back in under the premise of having forgotten something?
Or she comes in tomorrow angry because someone has disrupted her salt mining operation.
Excellent. This is why I'm not in charge of the detectives here in Dagger Falls. My idea was good, but yours, I must admit, much better.
And you can get them to go down to the salt mines and bear witness to the disruption, or whoever's doing it.
Perhaps when you do so, my men and I might just be there waiting.
Unheard of. Inconceivable.
And furthermore, when the real Black Hand arrives at the winding trail in 8 days, perhaps a surprise might be in store.
Surprises are good.
It sounds as if we almost have a
The
plan.
plan comes together.
Any other thoughts? So in 2 days, Wisteria, it sounds like you will be visiting Asha Tanner.
Well, I will be completely honest. While I can disguise my physical appearance, if I'm having to do any kind of deceiving or lying on my part, that might need to be someone else's expertise if they are able to change their appearance. I can do my best, however. I'm pretty straightforward.
I
And
see, yes. Okay. Appreciate your candor.
Are you able to take on the face of someone you've not met?
let me look. I would have to have a pretty good description of who that person is in order for me to look like them. 'Cause I don't
Well,
think I've seen this person.
Rue has interacted. The party has seen her. Rance has met her. Maybe between that, we could help you assume the role. Maybe
Fair
with
enough.
a bit of coaching.
Fair enough.
Well, perhaps I should leave you to the planning of this. Is this the approach we'd like to take? See if you can't lure her to the scene of the crime, and in the meantime, we'll make our way down there ourselves and have a look about. So 2 days from today, then. What time of day, Rance, does Blackhand usually show up? Does she come alone?
No, there's normally 2 thugs with her.
Hmm.
They stand outside,
Only
kind of
two.
watch. Only 2.
Okay.
She had a dozen with her when we last saw her.
Maybe there were more that I did not see.
Very well. I'm sure we can figure something out.
And each time I've seen her, it was the stroke of midnight.
Seems appropriate, I suppose. Well, any other thoughts or questions about our plan? We can stay in touch, obviously, refine things. You all know where to find me.
What would be the compensation for this endeavor? And how do I get me some of this compensation?
Yes, I would have to imagine, Rance, that you're most likely about to become unemployed. By one means or another, hopefully by my hand. Yes. So, why don't we discuss compensation? The group is on retainer. I am already indebted to you to the tune of 200 gold. Any thoughts, Rue? Any suggestions? Ronvin, Fix?
This caravan that's coming from Flan, you said?
Yes.
When's that due to be arriving or leaving?
Yes, that is scheduled. Oh, boy, let me think about that. Yes. That should be here in 4 days' time.
So if we want to clean up both of these, we might want to hurry on one and get to the other.
The caravan, the road thing seems to me like that may need to be a bit of an investigation. It may take you a day or two. You might wish to set out on that straight away after we sort out the business with Tanner and Blackhand, because I suspect you'll need to comb the roadside, the land, looking for any signs of whatever this caravan, banditry situation is, in order to give yourselves time to be there to perhaps intercept the caravan and get it safely into Dagger Falls. I do know from reports that it's some 20 to 30 miles east of Dagger Falls where the region where the issues have occurred with folk being waylaid, a caravan or two being upended and so forth.
It's not too bad. I can fly. Makes it easier.
See. Why don't we pay the party, each member of the party, 25 gold each for the first 2 days, and then 50 gold each for any days subsequent to that where you will be on the road investigating and hopefully safeguarding, fending off any threat should one be posed, the Lord's delivery. What say you?
Sure. Let's do it.
That's a lot of gold in my book. So
I don't even have a book, but it's enough gold.
Well, then what we need to do, Fix, and you see Fix smiling at the mention of gold, and Ronvin's like, oh yeah. Why don't Fix and Ronvin, Rue, Viz, Wisteria, Rance, why don't you... Hey, thanks for that raid, Lawful Stupid RPG. Much appreciated, man. Welcome, Raiders, playing a little D&D 5e, set in Dagger Falls, Dale Lands, and Faerun. Glad to have you aboard. Anybody new to the show, give us a follow. Love to have you. So, why don't you and your new companions get to know one another over the next day or two, decide whether or not, Wisteria and Rance, you wish to join the exploits of the Iron Phoenix. And when next we speak, perhaps it will be the dawn of the day, we enact our plan. So, sunrise, my favorite time of day, and he kind of glances over at the Highmorn Master, Orin. Sunrise, 2 days hence. We shall meet again here and refine our details, and at that point, we'll know who's in, who's out, what the plan shall be, and we will go from there.
Very well.
Aye, aye.
Rue is just kind of sitting and staring, lost in thought.
He will, at this point, just look around the room to see if there are any questions, any other thoughts. The High Morn Master will then stand, again, in his full white, gold-trimmed, he's got a couple of gold tassel cords that are twisted and braided, kind of clutch his holy symbol to Lathander and bow. As soon as the High Morn Master stands, Zal stands in all of his paladinly regalia, and he bows to the High Morn Master, and they clasp hands in some type of handshake that seems intentional. And then the Morn Master excuses himself, and Zal stands and waits for the rest of the group to stand.
Wisteria will stand.
After a long moment, we will stand.
Rance will quickly down 3 cups of rum and then attempt to stand, stagger a little bit, and use the table for balance.
Zal will grab your shoulder quickly, and I see. How much rum is left in that bottle?
Maybe a glass.
I'll go ahead and invite you to make a con saving throw at -2. No, I'm gonna. You know what? Straight up, since you've got some background with the consumption of rum, given your nickname of Rum Blood, we'll stand on that, and we'll just say a straight up con save.
7.
And up it goes.
I mean, I tried to help you here. I did. I
No.
tried to be sensible about this and not just hammer you, but 7's
There's what I
just
call a short rant.
not good. So give me, I would say you're pretty well, I mean, you're not destroyed or, completely shit-faced, but you're feeling no pain. So give us a little description of how your demeanor has gradually changed throughout this meeting. Now you're trying to stand for the first time in, an hour. Probably haven't eaten in a while.
Yeah, so as soon as there were mention of devils, the superstitious nature of the pirate took over, and he started downing the liquid courage, and he became more and more courageous and more willing to go and fight the Zentarim and stop the devils as he drank more and more of the rum.
Here. Yeah. I'm feeling it. Okay. But you've managed to get on your feet. A deep breath, and Zal regards you very quickly, does a field sobriety test on you. You can just tell you've been through these before. You know that this guy is no stranger to the tap room shenanigans of, sailors and their ilk. Are you all right, lad?
He tries to say "I," and instead he'll just hurl all over his holy.
He's going for it.
Yeah,
It's the big fountain.
yeah,
All over the plate mail that's
yeah.
meticulously clean,
Polished.
including the
with
holy
one hand
symbol of
on-
Lathander.
Yeah, with one hand on his shoulder as he does it.
I would have gone for the boots, but that's respect. That's
Well,
like-
by the laws of gravity, he's managed to find the boots. Because I'm picturing like heads down, hands on his shoulder, and just the fountain of rum and bile. And so Zal stands there, and you see his eyes narrow.
Should we
And
roll
Rube-
for initiative?
Rube grabs him and like grabs Runeblood and just like pulls him out of the room.
Zal says nothing. He kind of looks down at his soiled, rancid-smelling plate mail. And you hear a loud wood-on-wood thump, the sound of perhaps a well-carved, heavy oaken staff. Thump, thump. Devin, get in here and bring a bucket. And that's all you hear. And so the scene in the constable's private quarters has grown to a... closed. Goodness, words.
Drawn to a close.
Yes, drawn to a close. Thank you. And you find yourselves being escorted back out through the hallways, crisscrossing through the constabulary, and out into the afternoon sun. And they lead you to the stables where, upon you find your horse and cart, nicely tarped, and the party is standing outside the constabulary at the stables.
As we're leaving, Viz will be the last one out, and we'll approach Zol with a small stone in his hand, and just laughing ever so lightly, tap him with it. The detritus and vomit will vanish from Zol's armor and boots and so forth, and Viz will just look deeply into the eyes of Zol, run a finger down his chin, give him a quick kiss on the nose, and say, "We'll see you," and fly out the door.
His eyes kind of get wide, and he looks at you kind of sideways. May the light of Lathander bless your way. And he just
My
tries
way's
to
pretty
kind
well
of
lit.
hide a smirk as you... And it turns out paladins don't have prestidigitation, so good thing you took care of him there. All right, so the party is outside. You've got your horse, your cart, your contraband, if you will, stashed secured beneath the tarp. What does the party wish to do? It's late afternoon.
I suppose we should unload this stuff on Zol and let him have it as evidence. Is there anything? I mean, we're keeping the daggers, eh?
We should get that second chest open.
Well, do you want to take another crack at it with some picks?
Sure. Yeah, and then I think we need to talk.
Okay, so you're going to try to open the chest.
Yep.
All right. I like to use sleight of hand, and then are you wielding those thieves' tools with expertise, double proficiency?
It is... I don't believe I have expertise.
Okay.
I have advantage, and I also have lockpicks.
Oh, Viz, you have advantage to roll to pick locks?
I do. I have advantage in three skills. One of them is sleight of hand.
Nice.
Okay. Well,
Oh,
go and do
nice.
it, I guess.
I'll leave it to you two to sort it out. You just let me know how you like to... you can kind of see Viz and Rue a little bit fussing about who's going to pick the locks.
So with advantage, it's a 27.
Yeah, so you get your picks in there and very easily pop the lock on this chest. It's not a huge chest. It's a medium, maybe smallish. Typical iron-banded slats, wood, all been soaked and dried and soaked and dried and sealed. It's quite airtight. Do you open the chest?
Well, I'll present the open lock. Let someone more competent than I see if there's any traps.
I'll just grab it and fling it open.
It is open. In it, you see a nice pile of shiny gold coin and 10 nicely cut small red gems. Anyone got any like gem identification skills, background, aptitude?
Rhonda does.
I think Rhonda does.
Yeah, she would. Absolutely. You're right. She knows dead straight away. These are rubies. Probably worth 25 gold a piece. There's 10 of them. So a small pile of rubies. And if you take the time, there's 250 gold.
Nice.
Or loot.
So what do you wish to do with this chest? Any of the items? What's your next move? It's late afternoon. You've just kind of gotten everything sorted out as far as general plan.
We should go somewhere private and discuss this plan.
I agree. I don't know my way through Dagger Falls very much, so if you all have places to suggest, that would be great.
We have rooms at the Testford, right?
Yep.
Yes, rooms across the river at the Teshford Inn.
Yeah. Perhaps we could take this discussion to one of our rooms at the Testford Inn.
Well, we can leave whatever we want with Zol for evidence. Take this chest, patting it on the top. Back, cover it up though. We'll take it back to the Teshford, have our talk, and then we'll have to repatriate the horse and cart back with whoever owns it.
Yeah, those came from the Red Rock.
Yeah, I'm fine with just leaving this all with Zal to deal with.
The money included?
I've got, I mean, you all are welcome to it.
All right, so let's go ahead, and I think that's a good spot to wrap. We'll end this with the party leaving the salt. What all will you leave for Zol? And I will list that.
I think it's the one chest with the conventional weapons, like the non-magical weapons in it.
Yep.
And the magic items we've divvied up amongst the party members already.
Right.
And the second chest, Viz would see loaded up back up into the wagon, covered up, and heading over to the Teshford Arms,
Okay.
and then getting that wagon back to Red Rock Inn.
Sure. Okay.
Mostly-
Go
mostly
ahead.
Mostly just don't want anyone who might recognize the chest to see it.
Right. Yeah. So you can easily accomplish that, and in fact, there's no race to get the horse and cart back to the Red Rock tonight, so you can stable it there. Carefully get your chest up to the whatever room. And in fact, Rue, from your conversations with Din and with Oliver Sarden, the proprietor of the Teshford, that you have free reign to use the back meeting room anytime you wish. And so maybe when we start our next session, we will open that session in the back meeting room of the Teshford Inn. How does that sound?
Sounds good.
All right, great. Super. So, first session with 2 new characters. Nobody died, nobody bled. Fun was had. We got a nice raid. Thanks again, Lawful Stupid, for the raid. And speaking of raids, hang loose. We're going to go ahead and raid Praetor's Rejects here in a few minutes. But quickly, let's go around and do some outros. So, unintroduce yourselves, players, and maybe just a quick super bleep about where people can find you on the internet. So we'll start with Matt, who's playing Rants tonight.
So I'm Matt. I'm playing Rance Rumblood, the ex-pirate. And you can find me cruising around the Greyhawk Discords and on Greycast with the DM here.
Nice. Very good. Greycast being a Greyhawk podcast. I'll drop that command back in chat. So if you're interested in all things Greyhawk, you can follow that podcast. Rue, where can we find you there?
Hey all, I'm Andrew, aka Fellowship at the Tables. You're on Twitch, on Twitter, and Fellowship OTT, but hardly ever tweet or anything. Yeah, mostly just find me on the Discord.
Nice. All right. Wisteria.
Hey, I'm Sydney, and I play Wisteria, the Circle of Spores Druid, Hexblood. But I am now in the Discord, so I am now available in there, and I am Queen Squid on Twitch and on Twitter.
Awesome. Very good. And finally, Viz.
Hi, I'm Viz, played by Dave. Oh, I guess I should say I'm Dave, played by Viz. Or okay.
I think you had it right the
I'm
first
Dave.
time there, buddy.
I'm Dave. Hey, Wilson on the internets, Discord, Twitter, wherever else, here on Twitch as well. I'd like to thank you all for being here. Play here Monday nights, obviously, with Scott and this lovely crew. And I also play on Wednesdays. So do join us at 7 p.m. Eastern on this coming Wednesday, and we will be playing another game of D&D in not Dagger Falls. We're heading off to Leylon along the coast of Faerun. So come see us play.
All right. Nice. Thank you. Good. So I'm Scott Wiley Hobbit on all the Twitches and Twitters. I posted my Discord in chat if you want to join. If you're new here, you like what you see. We do play D&D Mondays at 7:30, Wednesdays at 7, both games in Forgotten Realms, with the occasional one-shot sprinkled in here and there. We did a nice one in Greyhawk yesterday as part of Virtual Greyhawk Con. Please come see us again. We're going to raid into Praetor's Reject, so if you wouldn't mind, just stick around and give them a shout when we get over there. And we'll hopefully see you again soon. Welcome to our new players, Rance and Wisteria. Well played, great fun, and we will see everyone some other time.